Hey guys, welcome back to another one. This is another Theta update video, and if you like the content, please like and subscribe to the channels, and you can find me on Theta TV as well. Alright, today's video is going to be about a brand new company that I recently learned is getting into the VR and AR space. You might have known about it. It's not Meta. I just want to talk about them first because they were the first one to go very public, and they changed their name from Facebook to Meta. As we know, they're starting the Metaverse, and a lot of good things are coming out of this. Virtual reality, people are learning about it, people are starting to understand a little bit more about it. Augmented reality as well. So it's a stepping stone to virtual reality, and I think augmented reality will probably be the first in line before we fully go to a virtual reality world. There's smart glasses out there, all sorts of things, and this is just because of Mark Zuckerberg basically changing the name of Facebook and starting this metaverse talk, which is really awesome. As we know, some things coming up out of the metaverse, and if they can do this successfully, not to say that, I'm all in for Facebook, because there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad with Facebook, but if they do make it more mainstream, that is definitely good for all of us Theta holders. So let's check out a couple of things that Facebook or Meta is looking to do. So they're trying to make it easier to chat with friends on a version of Messenger. That's one thing. There's also VR fitness. That's going to be something in the future, which is pretty neat. I do like that they're doing that because fitness is a huge industry of its own. And if you could bring more VR and AR into that, I think, that's just going to pull more and more people who normally would not go into this sector. And then also, Facebook's Horizon platform will now have a bunch of different little sub segments. So there's the Horizon Home, which is your home consumer VR, and then they separate one for business so that your home and your business sectors, they're not in the same space. So there's a Horizon Workrooms, and that's for your business, and then there's Horizon World, which is the VR space and playground, and then Horizon Venues. So this one I will have to dig down a little bit deeper. I am interested just because it's for VR shows and performances. And one thing we do know about Theta is that it does have the DRM, ability. So if Facebook did want to utilize something, I'm sure they're already going to create something on their own. But the DRM, digital rights management, is something that Theta does have, and they're able to essentially just let people have access to watch certain TV shows or certain streams if they paid for it, and they're using their technology in order to do that. So those are, a couple things that Meta or Facebook is going for in the future. Once again, trying to make it mainstream. One thing I did not know about is Apple, and it's actually right around the corner. So they should be releasing their own VR headset in 2022. Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. I was just scrolling through and I saw this one. But as we know, when Apple does something, they normally do it right. There's very few times that Apple puts something out that people just don't use. The AirPods, the iPhone, everything that they've done so far, for the most part, has been wildly successful. And that's what they're saying. If Apple is to, which they are, it's going to bring other people into the market for one, and then it's going to be successful, and they're going to be a direct competitor to Meta. So the more competition is definitely better for the overall space, because it just makes everyone better. So one thing that they're looking at is making a VR and AR experience. And check this out. So this is something that drove my eyes back to Theta as well. So the Apple content is rumored to have dual 4K micro LED displays, and we'll check it out in a little bit from the Theta docs as to why that's so important. Because VR and AR, they are heavy bandwidth users, and especially when you start getting into 4K and 8K and then above that, the bandwidth requirements just explode. So in order to make things cheaper for consumers, they have to find creative ways, and all these companies, they do have a lot of money that they can put into research and development and R&D. But if there's already a solution out there, they also could contract that solution out, which potentially could be Theta. So that is one thing that I did want to share. Apple is on the cusp of making an AR headset and VR headset, and it's right around the corner. It's going to come out in 2022. And then there's also Meta, as you can see right here. They're creating a higher end competitor to what they have out right now, because their current headset, it's cheap, and it's cheap because they're trying to pull people in. So they're also making a premium version that will probably compete with Apple's version of the headset. And once again, competition is great. And if we check out a couple things, the growth for the VR and AR segment, they haven't. I was trying to look, and there's not that many articles out there. So I think now that it's more in the headlines, hopefully more articles will come out. But there has been huge growth, and it is accelerating. I have found that. So this is from last year, but they're thinking 35% growth year over year, which is pretty awesome. And just look at those numbers. So the growth is there. The dollars are there. We just need to pull more and more people in. And one thing that is important here, if we check it out, this is through the Theta docs, and it's talking about virtual reality traffic growth. So this was a little bit older, but it does show you that it is exponential growth. And this is one of Theta's first white papers. And it just talks about how the CDNs, they're very important, but when it comes to those 4K and 8K video streams, the CDNs, they're kind of a bottleneck. And Theta is one way to alleviate those problems, especially when you come to, here's just 1080p, if they have 720p as a baseline as well. But 4K is 6 times more bandwidth, higher magnitude than the baseline of 720p. And it's almost 3x more than 1080p. So as soon as you start getting into 8K and 16K and all of the other technologies above that, the orders of magnitude, they just get exponentially higher. So that is why, Theta with their problem solving comes into hand. Another quick article here is just talking about how VR opportunities, not only for B2B, but also business to consumers, there's a bunch with the gaming and entertainment opportunities. And this is an article about startups, how startups are easily able to hop into this, and it's huge. They think this opportunity for big tech guys is bigger than it was in the smartphone era, when people could develop, smartphone applications. So they're saying this is actually going to be huge, have a lot of huge implications. And then the last little article I wanted to share is the VP of Intel, the Accelerated Computer Systems and Graphics Group. They're more so talking about how there needs to be a bunch of a 1,000-fold improvement on computational infrastructure than we have today. And this is more so just the graphics and computing things to make the metaverse or any augmented or virtual reality world look more realistic. But the thing they're not talking about is the bandwidth required behind that as well. So even though they do say it's coming, it needs a lot of work, but there are solutions for that. And I think if Theta can continue to position themselves as, the leader in bringing down the cost in a decentralized way for the skyrocketing data needs of, VR and AR, I hope that they can continue to position themselves and market themselves as the leader in order to do that. Because, users will start demanding 4K, 8K, and higher quality streams for the infrastructure bottlenecks. So in summary, Theta does have the technology. I hope they put it out there, but I am excited because of the competition. Apple is coming into the space. Facebook's coming into the space. They're bringing a whole lot of bandwidth requirements, and I think Theta is the key to solve those requirements. So let me know what you guys think about this one, and if you have not already, please like and subscribe to channels, and I'll see you on the next one.